YouTubers, you can show here with a review of the Ressha Sentai ToQger ToQ Ressha EX, Ressha Gattai DX SafariGa-Oh. So this is our movie mecha of the line, just like Tobaspino from last year. We now have a full mech. We don't need any other components to make a cool mecha. So that is always very much appreciated. So this is a remold of ToQ-Oh, done in an obviously main white color scheme, but featuring animal trains, which is always cool because animals are neat, trains are neat, so obviously it's going to be a neat little toy. This did release for about 7,800 yen or so at the same time BuildDai-Oh came out in July 2014. So being a movie mecha, it's probably not going to be around as long as, say, BuildDai-Oh or ToQ-Oh himself. So if you're looking to pick up this guy, you might want to pick him up while he's still readily available. So that being said, this consists of the Lion Ressha, the Alligator Ressha, the Wildcat Ressha, the Eagle Ressha, and the Panda Ressha. Now these are all technically Safari Ressha. They all say the same thing in the ToQ changer, and we will go ahead and demonstrate that right now. I love that sound. So like I said, all five of them do the same exact thing. The Lion Ressha is our remold of the Red Ressha, and obviously it has all of the bells and whistles, or lack thereof, of the Red Ressha, and you can kind of tell it's the same base body, but with a spiffy new lion head that I like a whole lot. The Fumikiriken has been replaced with this tail-like sword, and it serves its purpose in robot mode. We'll get to that shortly. And then the big backpack that we will demonstrate later on sits right back here on these ports right here. So that will just plop back here, and it really, in this mode, it really serves no purpose other than to be a giant backpack. But all of the extra pieces for this guy fit comfortably right back here, so nothing is dangling off. The Eagle Ressha is the blue Ressha, which is basically the same exact thing except painted up all nice and new up here. Same thing applies to the Alligator Ressha, which is the green Ressha. Again, no remolding on these, it's all just new paint up here to make it look like the animal. So the Lion Ressha is really the only remolded pieces we have. Now here's where things get a little bit more interesting, because San-Go and Go-Go have switched places. The Panda Ressha belongs to Go-Go. However, it goes on the right arm, which is looking at it straight, the left-hand side. But and the pink side, which is normally the left side, is now the Wildcat Ressha, which belongs to San-Go. So they kind of switch places a little bit, but what can you do? Not a whole lot. I guess I just figured this front looks a little bit nicer as a panda than this one. I don't know, they're pretty much the same front, but whatever. So we got a panda and a wildcat. The wildcat's probably my least favorite just because I get no... The catness in here, in here is so minimal. The white space is mostly just void because the cat face is right up their ears, eyes, and stuff. So this one's probably my least favorite of the bunch. Now the cool thing about SafariGa-Oh is it actually has a new mode, a lion mode. And that is thanks to this big brick right here, allowing us to do a little bit of things we couldn't before. So if we take everything apart, you're going to start to construct this just like you would ToQ-Oh, or in this case SafariGa-Oh. Take all three of the front main Reshas off. You're not going to need any of those. Swing this backwards. Swing this down and around. Just like so. The lion Ressha will fold up just like that and plug in right there. Now back here on this brick, you're going to want to take everything off of the brick. This will act as a lion's mane and plug right into the lion's face, and that plug right underneath there. You can kind of see how this is forming. This brick is actually going to plug in right back here to allow ports to be down here. And if we press that down, fold that up, that will peg in right here, and this will peg in right there. And then finally with the Panda and Wildcat Reshas, just going to plug them in just like that. Peg in on that side. Watch them flop over. And same thing with the Wildcat on this side. Peg that in right there. We'll plug in right there. And so now you can kind of position that however you want to as a tail. I prefer to have it droop just a tad. And we have the lion mode for this, and it's very cool. I like having an additional mode for this, and it's actually kind of my preferred method of display. Mostly because it just makes it so much different than the other mecha that I really dig it. I like animal modes, and they actually made it work. Plus, with the addition of this piece, you can use that on ToQ-Oh to make like dinosaurs out of the ToQ Ressha, or anything like that, the ToQ Ressha rather. But I don't know, I just really like this. It's probably my favorite part of the mecha in general, is just having this lion mode, because it works, it actually functions. It doesn't have a whole lot of articulation. You can have it kind of pouncing downward a little bit if you so prefer, you can do that. But yeah, so it doesn't do a whole lot. I just like the fact that it exists. It's a cool concept. And all they really had to add was this chunk right here, and they could make something like this out of the already established ToQ-Oh mold. So I think that's really cool. Now, transformation into SafariGa-Oh from here is relatively simple. Just kind of piece everything back together. Take off the big brickish things. And these will just attach like you would all the other legs. Fold these down. Fold the hands around. We will get to that. Pop off this. Fold it up. Just reattach the lion portion. Plug that in just like you would the red Ressha of ToQ-Oh. Fold this down to make the very tiny head. We'll get to that shortly. And this will plug in right back here, just where it was. And then the Fumikiriken, you can either have them hold it, but that requires you to take off a claw. The official transformation, when he's not holding it, just has it peg in right back here to kind of emulate a tail yet again. And you can kind of see it between his legs right here, as dirty as that sounds. The head is relatively small, and thanks to the backpack and the mane right here, it ends up looking a lot smaller than it actually is, because of everything that's going on around it. That being said, I really actually do dig the head sculpt. It's got the whole kind of ring lion thing going on up there, and it's kind of neat. But the chest is really what does it, and it looks a lot cooler than ToQ-Oh in my opinion. It just, there's a lot more going on, and it looks cool. That being said, his frontal view is absolutely atrocious. The lion head is cool, but the rest of the robot is so white. While ToQ-Oh has the thing where it's just so color, this one is so the absence of color, or actually the abundance of color, because that's what white is. But it doesn't have any sort of flair to it at all outside of that chest area. That being said, if you turn him just a tad, you get to see all the blue and the green and the orange and the black if you fling that arm up a little bit. And it starts to actually come together. So, that being said, it really depends on how you look at this thing to determine whether or not it's neat. Like I said, from a frontal view, it's a little bit on the bland side, but if you can start seeing all the color that's on the sides of these trains, then it starts coming together a little bit. But you can turn the arms a little bit to get some cool claw effects, and these are all just in there on the peg inside, so you can rotate those however you see fit to get a little bit of dynamics going on. But overall, I like him. Now, being a remold of ToQ-Oh, you can obviously do tons of different things with this. You can use any of the previous Ressha, so you can attach drill or fire or police onto this guy, but you can also go ahead and make ChoToQ-Oh with Safari as the base and ChoChoToQDai-Oh with SafariGa-Oh as the base. So let's go ahead and take a look at ChoSafariGa-Oh, as I like to call him. And he's not too bad. He actually works very well, I think. Again, you have the white, so you have to sort of adjust yourself to the fact that you're seeing a lot of white instead of a lot of color. But as a full base, I think it really works. Now, taking a look at ChoChoSafariDai-Oh, just making up names here, it actually looks kind of cool. The one problem is that the hump of where like the smokestack is on the Lion Ressha isn't flat enough to allow the orange scarf piece of BuildDai-Oh to sit flush on there. So it's either going to have to be raised a bit, or the lion head's going to have to try to come down a bit to compensate. So that's probably the only major gripe of that formation, is the fact that obviously it wasn't made for it. It would have been nice if they allowed enough clearance to do it. But if you can ignore the fact that the little orange piece is kind of going to be raised a little bit, it does actually look kind of cool. The lion with the mane does a whole lot for these combinations. So I actually really dig it. So overall, is SafariGa-Oh a must-buy? Not entirely. I don't know if it's going to get used in the show. Most of the time the movie mechas do appear in the show. It obviously hasn't yet. The movie just came out a couple weeks ago, so it's not really been in the limelight all too much. But as a movie mecha, it's actually one of the better ones we've gotten. Tobaspino was kind of a letdown given his price, and this guy's actually quite a bit of a better toy than ToQ-Oh when you think about it just as a robot-to-robot comparison. The amount of white does take some getting used to, especially with ToQ-Oh's huge amounts of color, but to some people that might actually be a plus. So it all depends on your personal design taste. The lion mode really wins out for me though. That's my favorite part of this thing. I just really like it. In fact, like I said, I'm probably going to display it like that just because I think it's so unique to have an animal made out of trains that are made from animals. So it's kind of a full circle, and I really dig it. So to me, it's worth it for that alone. I picked this up for 5,000 yen off of Mandarake, which is quite a bit of a discount off the normal retail price. So if you can get it for around there, I definitely recommend it. If you're paying retail price, it's really up to your discretion. I think it's worth it at the end, but it all depends on how much you really enjoy this. But it does definitely get my seal of approval, if I had one, because I just really like the lion mode. I think it's a step up from ToQ-Oh and well worth the purchase. So thanks for watching, take care, and have a great one. Bye.